Hi friends, this is Aylin Aydin, your astrologer and tarot reader, and this is your seasonal tarot reading for the spring of 2021. In this seasonal tarot reading, there's a couple of things that we're going to be going over. So I'm going to outline every single one of those things that we're going to be going over before we get started. So this reading covers everything you need to know for the spring season of 2021. The first thing that we're going to start out with, though, is a collective message reading with all of the elements. And as we go through the elements and through the cards that I have pulled for the elements, I will be explaining what it all means. The second thing that we're going to go over is the tarot reading for your personal sign that covers each of the lunar phases during this season. The first phase that we're going to be focusing on is the new cycle beginning with the new moon in Aries. The second phase we'll focus on is the new cycle beginning with the new moon in Taurus. And then the third phase that we're going to be focusing on is the new cycle that begins with the new moon in Gemini. Let's get started with the collective message. Now, the collective message is going to consist of 5 elements that we're going to cover for this entire season. It is going to be fire, water, earth, air, and space. And as we cover these, I'm going to give more examples of what the elements stand for. Now, majority of us already know or have a relationship to these elements that I'm going to be going over. But if you're drawn to certain elements, make sure you come back and listen to them again. Or you could also just put together a bigger kind of message for yourself through your sun, moon, or rising sign. Now, the very first thing that I'm going to be covering is the element of fire. Fire stands for the self, for our body, for the way in which we use our strength, mind, body, spirit all together to put things into action. It's also an element that stands for action. And the collective message here, the 2 tarot cards that fell out, was the 4 of Swords and the 8 of Pentacles reversed. So what we can expect during this spring season is that we're going to feel a little bit restless. We're also going to feel restless because we're trying to figure out and narrow down what it is that we should be focusing on. And I think that that is the reason why this was reversed, because a lot of our focus during this spring season is going to be on everything that we're trying to accomplish, or we're trying to ignite a new path. So there is sort of this moment here where a lot of our actions will be sort of coming with a lot of intensity. And I think that it's also going to be focusing a lot on just giving ourselves an opportunity to begin again and to move forward again. Now, with the fire element, there is also an oracle card that I have felt drawn to pull for this spring season, and that is the dolphin. And it says, embrace your inner child. And I really feel that what this message is all about is that we are to look at the things that we truly, truly love. Now let's move on to the water element. The water element, there's a bunch of cards that fell out here. So we're going to go through it one by one. The water element is our emotions, but really what is being reflected in our day-to-day. What kind of emotional currency are we going to be moving through all throughout this season? I think that when we are coming up to the full moon in the first lunar cycle, what we are discovering is that there is a strength that is returning within us. The Queen of Wands fell out. It's really just going to be about a strength, or we're going to discover a moment here. It's going to be an aha moment that, you know, gives us sort of an answer that we have been looking for, and it reignites our faith. That's what I'm seeing here with the Queen of Wands. The second card that fell out is the 7 of Wands reversed. I think that we're going to feel quite kind of tired by the time we get to that full moon. The reason for that is because, again, the energies are very intense during the beginning of this spring season with that new moon cycle in Aries. And there's just a lot that we're trying to accomplish in a short period of time. So it seems that's what the cards are showing us here. But even if even if we take a look at the astrological transits, that is what we're seeing as well. We're moving forward. The energy is moving us forward. And so what we are discovering during this time is that this is our opportunity to step into our destiny, our fate. There's a lot of fated events that might be unfolding in your life. And if this really speaks to you, this is going to be a moment where you have to sort of take a moment to gauge if this opportunity is worth pursuing, right? Because opportunities are going to be arising, but not every opportunity is going to bring us what we're looking for. And so here you must remind yourself of the past. Five of Cups. The Five of Cups is basically saying, are you repeating something from the past because you're trying to, get a particular emotion back into your life? But does it have to come through this one thing? Does it have to be through this one person? Does it have to be through this one company, this one, job, this one path that you thought all of your life would be the only way that you would feel accomplished? The Five of Cups here is saying, is this really what it is that you're trying to accomplish, or are you repeating the past? Make sure you're listening to your heart. Make sure you're listening to the clues, right? Like take a moment to gather all the information and then see emotionally what feels right. Because, your own inner heart wisdom knows the answers. And I think that's what the Five of Cups is saying here. You must take the past into consideration. Now, the spiritual guidance card is Sandbar. Okay, it says discovery of new pathways and opportunities. Yes, absolutely. There is going to be new pathways and opportunities. But again, we must actually look for those opportunities as well during the season. So a lot of it will come to us. But then if you feel that you're repeating the past, there is going to be another way. There is going to be another way. And you must stay open in order to see it. And that's what I'm seeing here. So emotionally, what are we taking a look at? We're taking a look at, focusing on being hopeful and focusing on being curious, focusing on love. Do we love it? Yes, no. That is how we're gauging all throughout this spring season. For the earth element, the one tarot card that fell out here is the Two of Wands. This is so interesting because I really feel that we are going to be looking at how to put value back into our life through the lens of where we belong emotionally. Where do we belong in the world emotionally? What is it we desire? Who are the people that need to be in our lives or that we envision that are in our lives, right? So these are the things that we're going to be looking at. I also feel like a lot of us will be finding new sets of values because our values have changed. So that is another really big thing, I think, with the Two of Wands. It's a very simple message for the earth element. Now, for the spiritual advice, we have Poseidon. Emotions are intense. Be cautious of how you treat others. So I really do feel that because we're going to be in a very passionate season, I think that what a lot of us can expect is that we're going to be clearing a lot of misunderstandings in our relationship dynamics. That's number one. I also think that we're going to be clearing the way for us to know now where we emotionally belong in the future. I think that that is going to be a very big role based on our values. We're to ground ourselves in this area emotionally and to look for genuine connection. I think that is going to be another really, really big part here. Now, the other thing that I'm seeing with this Poseidon card is that there is sort of this moment where we could be creating a storm in our lives, which is what Poseidon really represented anyway in Greek mythology. He was feared for being the person that created storms. And so I think that what we are to watch out for is how we're communicating our values to other people, because during this time, we could be emotionally very sharp. And what we're saying could really hurt another person. And so I think that we have to be mindful of how we are communicating what it is that we feel on the inside out there. There is also going to be new information that is going to come up that will help everyone to connect the dots. There is more information that's coming up for the collective, for out into the open, for people to see, that will allow for us to connect the dots. This will have to do with science. This will have to do with scientific research. This will also have to do with anything that needs more scientific research. And so I think that during this time, we're going to feel very passionate. For the air element, our intellect, the way in which we are going to be thinking, the way in which we might communicate, or the way in which we get inspired, we have the 9 of Wands. I think that what we're realizing is that there are certain things in our lifestyle that we are now seeing in the collective way that is just not worth defending anymore, or is worth defending. So we're going to have both sides here. I also am seeing with the spiritual advice card, Bird of Paradise, embark on a new adventure. Yes, there are going to be new ways in which we're wanting to dissolve past boundaries so that we can live our life in a different kind of a way. So there could be moments where you might just sort of decide that you want to do something very different because the opportunity presents itself. And I think that the way that you want to do this something different is going to come through is by you getting sort of a piece of communication that empowers you. I think we can really count on that, especially during May when we get into that new moon cycle, or that entire phase with the new moon beginning in Taurus. I think what's going to happen is that we're going to be in this place where we're going to want to reach further beyond what we used to do in our day-to-day. And now that opportunity is there. Now we're wanting to grab that opportunity and we want to go with it. I also think that there is going to be a lot of people that will start to share what has happened to them in the last year and a half, who they've become, who they've seen, what has happened, to them, and what exactly the shifts are that are happening within them. For the last element, which is space. Space basically representing what are we to hold space for in our lives during this particular season. The one card, tarot card that fell out is the Page of Wands. And that is interesting. The Page of Wands is like a new learning curve about ourselves. So we're going to continue to learn more about who we're becoming. We're also going to be continuing to learn about how to trust the actions that we're taking. I think that there is this moment where we are to trust, especially right before the eclipse, we are to trust that what is happening and what is unfolding in our lives is exactly what is meant to be. Because some things are fate, and then some things will also mix with fate and our free will, obviously. But here, the Page of Wands basically says, look, you have to trust the feeling that you have. You have to trust the value that you have in your life. And it is leading you, it is guiding you somewhere. And it might be a new intimate connection that you have with people, with your career, with certain values in your life, and you are to trust it. And the spiritual message cards, there's 3 of them that came out. The first one is anchor. Be hopeful, choose optimism. I think that there can be some cynicism that could come up, right? If the card were to be reversed, if we don't take the opportunity, even though the energies are very good and the energies will be guiding us into a new perspective that we can anchor into, that we can have faith and hope over, that we can have optimism over. So as the collective, we are learning how to trust the actions that are being taken. And then there's also going to be moments where we're going to see who we cannot trust. Because it always goes both ways, right? It's not just one way, like everything is rainbows and lollipops, it is going to go both ways. And so I think that there is going to be moments where we will actually see that we cannot trust this one person, or we've trusted the wrong kind of, situation. And so that is going to come up as well. And the second spiritual message for trust and holding, new kinds of trust in our life is the fish. And again, the foundation for it is going to be, what are we trusting? Who are we trusting? And first and foremost, are we trusting ourselves so that the balance can come in? The third spiritual message is the starfish. Trust your instincts. So what's interesting about the starfish is that the starfish is a very complex creature. It actually doesn't have a brain. It has a very complex nervous system. The starfish also speaks about the fact that when we take a look at the starfish and the life of the starfish in and of itself, it relies on its environment for survival. So these types of themes are going to be coming up. The space that we're coming into, especially when we get into the Gemini season, there is going to be moments where we're going to realize that there are certain dependencies that we have in our environment that are being betrayed. And because they're being betrayed, we are now to trust a new path. We're now to trust something else. And where is that something else going to come from? You know, this is what we're looking at with the starfish, right? There is a betrayal of some sort that is going on to the values that we used to hold, or we thought we were putting all of our trust into this one thing in our environment, whether that's the food industry, whether that is some kind of, area of our life specific to where we live in our environment, that now we see is actually not what it is. And I think that with the starfish, it is hope. The message is hope that we can overcome betrayal. And the way that we can do that is by bringing the communication, or bringing basically an appreciation back to respecting ourselves and nature, respecting our environment, respecting the very thing that has been, where the boundary has been crossed. I think that's what we're seeing with the starfish here. It's really, really interesting. So between these three, anchoring down, finding the balance, and the starfish, there is something big that is going to start to come up in Gemini season, new forms of communication in your particular environment that will impact or have an impact that is not so favorable. And it has to do with some kind of betrayal, or some kind of, where the boundaries are being crossed for money, where there is sort of actions being taken without the consideration of the greater good. Something like this is going to be coming up during Gemini season. And I think that what we are being asked here is to hold space for that to happen, because sometimes we just don't know that certain things are going on in the background. So this is something that is going on in the background that is going to come up to the surface. And I think that what we are to do is actually hold space for that, because we are to help each other during this season to really come back to our center, a center to respect who we are, and a center to respect what is happening in our lives. Because when things go in the wrong direction, we need a moment to actually see why they went into the wrong direction. So I think that the starfish is communicating that through this card right here. So that's what I'm seeing here for the space element. Now, before we dive into your sign, I do want to quickly mention that I do offer readings in person, and I also do video recordings that I do send to you with a private link. And if you would like to book any of my readings, that information is in the description box below. Right now, I do have a tarot reading, which is a video recording that I do for you personally, that is on sale, 30% off. So if you're interested in working with me a little bit closer, then you can book that reading. And everything that you need to know, again, is either at upriseastrology.com or in the description box below. So now let's take a look at your personal zodiac sign. You can listen to your sun, moon, or rising, or you can listen to all three if you know it, to kind of get a bigger reading and to know what is going to be coming up over the next 3 months. All right, Libra. So we're going to take a look at the Aries new moon phase that is going to last until the first week or so in May. And this season is going to be really good to you. You are starting out with the Emperor energy. All throughout the month, the Emperor energy is going to be your energy of beginning to be the boss, or beginning to be in the driving seat. Okay, that's what the Emperor is all about. You're making a move. This move is one that is going to put you on a path where you're going to be able to climb upwards. We're seeing that with the Devil followed. We also see with the Knight of Swords that is the position you're going to be in. The world says that you must, though, pay attention to what you have to devote your time into. And perhaps there is going to be this idea that you are going to move quickly forward. There's a couple of things that are going to create sort of speed bumps. And you are to pay attention to those things, because the World card is also a card of completing things and making sure that you are paying attention to the aspects of your life which have directly to do with mastering certain tasks and responsibilities that have to be completed. They have to be completed at this time. Very important. So a lot of you will have to hear that as well. The High Priestess here says, are you listening to your intuition with the person who is becoming of importance in your life? This could be a boss. I do see that this person is someone that you're going to be working with. I don't see that this person is someone that's very, very close to you. Just pay attention to their demands. They're going to be making demands, and you could be in this place where maybe you are not wanting to accept to see that right now because you are wanting to move forward quickly. Knight of Swords. And there are a couple of things here that are going to be coming up the first 10 days of May where you are having to press on through. Like you have to keep going. The reason for that is because there could be some blocks where you maybe don't want to do that paperwork. Maybe you don't want to get up and go communicate to this person. There could be a couple of people you need to kind of communicate with that you don't want to communicate with, or a new group of people or new people that you're going to be encountering. Something about that is going to come up, or simply your schedule at this time. You might not want to do the things that are on your schedule, as simple as that. So it's going to be important here to listen to your intuition and to accept certain things that are currently happening in your life where, you know, because you took those responsibilities on, you have to complete them. It's very important because when you do, you really restore a sense of freedom. You are able to really focus on things that are allowing for you to be more liberated and free emotionally, okay, when you complete these tasks. But it's very much correlated to that. So what I'm going to do for this phase is draw clarifiers for each of the rows and then one more for the Eight of Cups. So the Emperor has to do with an opportunity completely related to money. It's also an opportunity completely related to letting go maybe of an old job or letting go of certain tasks and responsibilities that you're now wrapping your head around what it is that you love about it and what it is that you don't, right? Like some of that is malleable coming into Gemini season. But right now, you still have to sort of, maybe you're in a place where you're having to learn how to enjoy the tasks from the moment to moment kind of situation. And that can be hard for you because obviously you're a cardinal air and you like to move on forward, not spend too much time on certain things that are repetitive. And so for you here, the task is going to be to just surrender to the moment. Literally just surrender to the moment. Try to enjoy what it is that you're doing from the moment to moment. Every action that you're taking this month is going to be important like that. Now, at the same time as you're working this kind of a thing through, you're also in this place where you are realizing that someone is extremely interested in what it is that you can do. In your field, in your work, you are very, very good at what it is that you're doing. And so now you get this opportunity and this sort of invitation to start to put your skills into play. However, these skills that you're putting into play, this person is going to be making a lot of demands. So try to see where you need to be letting your guards down and communicating that, because you may be in this place where you're not wanting to communicate any of it. The reason for that is because perhaps you fear that you're going to have to do it by yourself, or like if you say something, the person is just not going to understand you. Don't. This is not the time to worry about that. This is the time to, really speak up and believe in yourself and know that you're the person that's going to provide clarity, for how things need to be. So pay attention to that. Okay. It is a time to move forward and not give in to the old ways in which you would have to maybe draw back and think about it for too long. That's what the High Priestess here is, okay? You have to sort of be in a place where you're creating these breakthroughs and it's going to be up to you. That is a very strong message that I'm seeing for a lot of you. The Knight of Swords and the Two of Pentacles says, when you become fierce about what it is that you want, even though you might feel tired, even though you might feel like you don't want to do this thing anymore, on the other side of that, you clear your mind of these burdens. Get the paperwork done. Move forward. Get the things done that are on the to-do list, because the moment you do, you return back to grace. And you also put yourself into a position where you need to see how to not get caught up in this place of responsibilities that seem so annoying. Let's just say that. They seem so annoying, okay? Now here with the Eight of Cups, it's all about the moment that you push forward, the moment that you allow for yourself to, take responsibility for the things that you are trying to create in your life. You can trust your instincts, Eight of Cups. And when you trust your instincts, what happens is you're able to slow down, you're able to be patient and persistent, because the 10 of diamonds is completely correlated to a time of letting go and moving on, and also examining the things that are holding you back. What are the things that are holding you back? Well, these are the things that you are self-reflecting upon right now. And you are in introspection to, what do you need to do in order to gain forward movement in a more methodical way? You're gaining clarity around it. Look at that, 10 of diamonds and 10 of hearts. You can't make this up. This is incredible. So you gain incredible amount of insight the moment that you just allow for yourself to see where you don't want to push forward. What is it about the certain responsibilities right now that make you feel like you're isolated? You know what I mean? So I'm not going to draw any more cards. I'm just going to draw now the spiritual cards from this deck. Again, same thing for each of the rows, and then one for the last one. Yep. You're gaining clarity. You're definitely gaining clarity about the things that hold you back. You have a new beginning here. That is so important for you to utilize and seize the moment, okay? And it's very important to not kind of give up. If you need to pause, do it. Pause only for so long, because, what you are doing right now is a lot bigger than what you think. It is a lot bigger than what you think. There is so much clarity that's going to start to kick in. And at the end of this, right before you get to that new moon in Taurus, you are going to get a very big message from within you about the future, about where you need to put your aim, okay? Where you need to put your aim. There's sort of this opportunity that comes in regards to your future, your long-term goals, but you're getting advice from someone. I feel like a lot of you are going to be getting advice from someone. So that's what I'm seeing here. Let's take a look at the spiritual messages here. New beginnings. We just talked about that. New beginnings. Whatever you're doing at this time leads to more fulfillment. So if you're accepting a new job, it is going to lead to more fulfillment. And then we have the opportunity card. Yes. So whatever responsibilities that you're going after right now, that you're completing right now, as well as new ones that you're taking on, all of this is going to lead to more opportunities as well. It's completely correlated to your birthday month. For sure. I can see that during your birthday, you're going to be very happy that you took on these responsibilities. So that's going to be for the phase with the new moon in Aries. Let's move on to the next one. All right, Libra. Taurus season is going to be, again, so good to you in so many different ways. The reason it's going to be so good to you is because we start out with the Knight of Wands right over here. This is going to be an incredible time to explore new ways on how to enjoy your life. Literally. It's going to be a time where you're going to receive probably many new invitations to join groups, celebrations, to be in a place where you're going to be really enjoying life's sweetness. That is the Knight of Wands right over here. Now, what also is happening at the same time is that much needed clarity you need in regards to your path. A lot of that is going to start to unfold now, but you are not to take action quite yet. You are only to take action on the things that are bringing you sort of the feeling of joy, that are allowing for you to immerse in a lot of the pleasures of life, but it's not quite a time to take action on
career during this time, because you are sort of learning new ways on how to become more truthful in regards to how you would like to live your life, in regards to how you would like to, move forward when it comes to handling also certain things in life, right? Like, what kind of house do you want to live in? What kind of car do you want to drive in? But you are supported, because what you're being supported in has to do with you just, being immersed in things that you haven't done in a really long time. That's what I'm seeing here. There's like new things that you're going to be doing, or old things you're doing that you haven't done in a long time. This also then, this focus allows for you to release sort of some worries in regards to the future, because you are thinking of your work, or you're thinking of your life's purpose here, but Taurus season is not really quite the season for you to dive into those kinds of changes quite yet. Now, I do see that some of you are trying to also think about family life. Some of you are going to be thinking about that, and some of you are going to be thinking about family changes that you are creating at this time. And so there is sort of a moment here in the middle of this month where you are going to be integrating sort of a strength through the solitude that you are creating for yourself. So this is going to be really, really important, because there is sort of this moment where you feel like you may have to act on something, but it's not the time yet. So consider that right now you're still sort of in the integration phase of understanding how to go about your approaches in a different way. One that you used to not take that way, like an approach, or the way in which you would communicate, the way in which you would ask for the things that you're really wanting in your life. This also has to do with your career. So I think that you are just really optimistic to come back to a new kind of way of trying to find a new way, even to old solutions. So that is sort of the opening statement of your reading. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to clarify each of the rows again. And I'm also going to be pulling your spiritual messages live, so that, we can kind of do it together. So now we are going to take a look at that Knight of Wands and the Two of Cups. Okay. So a deepening of relationship experiences is happening at this time. You are sort of seeing all of the blessings, because the last, shall we say, 2 years have been incredibly, incredibly difficult. And so now you have some headspace to review all of it. And you have some room to be in a place where you're grateful for where you're at right now. It's even sweeter because of all of the turmoil that you have gone through. So that is the first thing here. The Two of Cups also says, go towards all of the things that bring you joy. Don't do anything else right now. This is what is creating emotional balance for you. The Six of Swords and the Ace of Wands reversed is there is many opportunities that you're realizing right now. There are some opportunities that are proving to be the right kind of opportunities. However, it is not quite time to act on those opportunities yet, because you are still to see something that you're not seeing yet. You're still to grasp a bigger picture, an idea that you're not quite, seeing yet. So the cards are saying the best way to support yourself is to let some time pass. Move forward, let some time pass, because your wisdom is going to be found in that time passage, in that truth of time passing. It's a really interesting message here for you, because everything is going to feel new this month, in a sense. It is going to feel new. Now, you are going to be finding ways to do things very differently towards more the end of this cycle, okay? The end of this cycle, there's a lot of closure and completion that you are going to be making. And it has to do maybe walking away from a previous job. It may have to be walking towards things in your life that create more inspiration. You're sort of seeing that you want more inspiration. You are wanting to act on your inspirations. And in order to do it, some things have to just come to an end. What are those things that have to come to an end? old, outdated ideas on how to make money, old, outdated ideas on, positions, even roles that you're taking on. Whatever the things are that you are grieving over, that you're letting go at the end of the month, that are completely correlated to money, it is only going to be temporary. You're not going to be in that space for too long. Just allow for that time to also show you what you need to see. There's things that you need to see. An exploration of your emotion is going to be very important here as well. Because when things are rough in your life, what is it that you're holding on to? What's your inner light? That's 7 of diamonds. What's your inner light? Embrace the change that is happening right now in your life and know that you are going to adapt. Okay? Adaptability is going to be very important for you. You are going to be adapting. Let's take a look at spiritual messages from this deck. Okay? We're going to lay those messages right on top of those cards. The middle rows. Okay. Wow. Okay, so you are building new roots. Okay. You are going to be expanding new ways, reaching out your branches to, not fear the unknown. A lot of things are unknown right now. And you are in this place where you're finding ways on how to cope with the unknown, because you also know that by the time we get to your season, a lot of new negotiations are going to be holding will be held during that time. That's what I'm trying to say. So here, however much you can get help by other people, accept the support. Can you accept it? That is going to be really important here as well, because now is a time to kind of confront certain stresses, but not do anything about them yet. It's just like the confrontation, like that invitation. Are there some things that you're avoiding, that you're wishing that you will be able to handle right now? Now is the time. Now is the time to handle them. Because everything that you're doing, you're putting new blood flow in. You're putting new sort of, the future that you're writing right now, it has a lot to do with you following your own ideas, okay? Acting on your inspirations. This is a message that keeps coming up over and over again for a lot of the signs, actually. So here, can you be super mindful of what you're learning from the people in your life, what you're learning from others, because others are showing you the way as well, whether it is a good thing or not. And a lot of it has to do with your reputation, your career, what you want to do with that, right? Everything you want is within reach, but you are in this place where you're still strengthening, understanding when to insert your energy and when not to. This is huge for you. When to insert your energy and when not to insert your energy. These are the types of things that are going to be really important to understand at this time. And that is what Taurus season is teaching you at the very minimum here. Taurus season is teaching you timing. This is really big for all the Libras. Timing is everything. And what do you do when you get ready for something? What do you do when you get ready for a particular phase in the cycle, right? So we're pulling more spiritual messages. Absolutely. You're in a time of deep wisdom. You are in a time where you're diving in deeper, seeing the things that you need to see, experiencing things that are going to be with you of lasting, value into the future. Right now is a really good time to improve all your relationship aspects. And you're kind of drawing the line with that too, You're in a place where you're wanting to move on and forgive. You're also going to be hearing of someone that you had confronted a while back. And when you confronted them, they weren't really ready to hear what you had to say. So that conversation is going to circle back around. And when the conversation circles back around, you'll be able to kind of relax a little bit, because that has been on your mind a lot. It's been on your mind a lot. Like, you wondered if you guys would ever sort of become amicable again, okay? The reason for that is because that person, they taught you a lot. And what they taught you had to do with your very own boundaries and your protection, okay? What you really need to protect in your life and in your career, because you have a particular set of skills, What do you need to protect about that? And where should your skills be put in? Is it with this person? And the answer was no. It was a hard no. And there was sort of a disappointment and a heartbreak that came with it. But just know that right now it is a time of forgiving. So that's what I'm seeing for this segment. Let's move on to the next. Times are changing during this new moon solar eclipse. And you, out of all the signs, are someone who kind of have seen this thing coming and approaching. It's been a long time. It's been approaching for a long time. And so here we are. It is happening. The Fool, for you, has a lot to do with you now getting this one opportunity that has a lot to do with you remembering your purpose. But you have to remain open to take the right action at the right time. Now, when everyone is sort of arguing over perfection, you realize that there is a lot of wisdom here for you, because this is what kept you, this energy that you were a part of. Everybody was a part of it. But for you in particular, it kept you sort of in this idea of perfection, whatever this idea of perfection is. Okay? The way in which you maybe showed up, the way in which you maybe presented yourself, a lot of this are outgrown ideas that are now surfacing. You're going to be able to overcome them quick, because the environment is going to be in a place where everyone is going to be sort of like, they're either fighting or they're arguing. There is a lot of things that are coming to an end because some kind of like changes are occurring that's going to be impacting everyone. So it's a highly emotional time. And I think that this is also a time where you get to practice honesty. You get to really practice honesty. You get to release more control or things that used to control you. What do they have to do with? It has to do with a time where, it didn't allow for you to be flexible. Now is a time for you to fixate on everything that you need to restore your energy, because a brand new opportunity comes with when Venus goes into Leo. When Venus goes into Leo, there's this huge opportunity that is coming. It has to do with kind of just teaching you also to enjoy every moment. Like, no matter how gnarly things are, can you enjoy every moment? Can you have empathy with yourself and others for the hard times that they're going through? The highest point in your chart is your career, right? Your career house. And so here a new adventure is going to happen. You're going to be doing some very important things in your career later on, but right now you are to take a leap of faith to this opportunity. It may also come with a move, or it's going to come with investment of money. This is where you have to just allow for yourself to dream up a new future again. And it's going to completely correlate to parts of you that are sort of going against old values. Let's just say that. It's sort of like an old value thing that you are going to come up against. Again, this has to do with perfection. This has to do with the idea that you had to like change yourself so much, Can you discover new ways in which you can embrace things that you haven't done before, roads you haven't traveled before? This is going to be super duper important. I'm going to go right into the clarification, because yours and the Taurus reading, actually, your guys' reading is super straightforward, and like the energy I'm getting is that you're purifying in a very quick way during this time. All of the things that are in the way, you're purifying them. Okay. You're seeing now that a lot is coming up. The Ace of Clubs has to do with the truth. And this truth is because everyone's emotions is intense. And so here we have to watch out for how we're talking. So for you, Libra, you have to watch out for how you're talking and what you're saying, because your energy is going to be extremely powerful. Because what you say can either create or destroy. And you don't want to be caught up in a situation that you don't want to be in. That then proves itself to be very difficult. Difficult to let go. Rather, on focusing on this area, Just connect to the things that you need. Focus on yourself. Let others do what they need to do. Don't get involved into any arguments this month because you're going to be tempted. There are some things that you're not going to be able to control this month. Just accept it. Focus on your own skills. Focus on your own energy. Speak from you, okay? And then make a choice on how you're going to move forward. Anything that is challenging right now, do not fight it. Rather than accept it and then sail with it with grace. That is the big message here. It's like super clear. And then here towards the end, you're going to get this opportunity that has a lot to do with your future, but it's going to require for you to take a leap of faith. This leap of faith is going to be something that you're going to actually really, really enjoy. But right now there could be sort of this, you want to try to maybe control it or something like that. Try to just let yourself be in your own center. Does it feel good? If it does, don't worry about the chaos around you. All that stuff is going to settle. All of it is going to be settling. You are the center of the hurricane this month. You are. You are providing calm because there's more of these storms that are going to be coming where people are going to be in this place where, they're going to be arguing about the past that cannot define the future, right? Like, it can't define the future, but a lot of people are going to be arguing there. So what you are doing is you're approaching something big and an opportunity for yourself here with the Four of Hearts, the Knight of Pentacles, the Ace of Cups. So get grounded, extend your roots, all right, and find stability there. Now I'm going to dive right into the spiritual messages here. First one already came out. Again, this is your path. This is related to your purpose, related to your career path. Right now, you're gaining strength. Listen to your heart. Another message. Allow for the things that are uncomfortable to surface so you can let them go. Speak your truth when it's time. Speak your truth when it's time. You're going to know when that timing is. Let's pull a couple more cards. First one. You finally figure out where exactly you belong. A lot of you were sort of in this place where you also maybe didn't know where you belonged now that things had changed, So there is going to be a sense of movement forward, but a lot more with ease. It has to do with ease. It also has to do sort of with you having an epiphany, okay, about where things are going now, because you were worried about certain things. And so you are moving forward. And again, bam, a new beginning. That opportunity at the end, it is going to be a good one. I don't know why the word tropical comes up. The word tropical comes up, humidity comes up, the word opportunity for more money comes up, and leap of faith. So this is going to be very huge. I am going to pull one more card here because I feel like this reading was like the most straightforward reading ever. Some of the readings I spend a lot more time because they needed that info. For you, it is like super straightforward. Yep. You're swimming in a new direction. You're swimming in a new direction. And it's a lot more abundant than it used to be. So step back, take a break, okay, when you need to. Enjoy the things that are happening right now, because out of all the signs, you will be able to follow your passion and you'll be able to kind of be a lot more soulful while everything else around you is going to feel like chaos. Because the energy is rising, the emotions are going to be escalating during this time. You're going to feel that too. Like people are going to be in a place where, there's going to be clashes. However, for you, the most important message here is pause for a moment and look at your life. The stuff that is happening right now is not random. So what you're also going to find out during this time is someone is going to be unveiling who they really are. This is going to be really, really big. This is also going to allow for you to understand why it is now time for you to let yourself be seen. So that's going to be really big too. Like this is a time where something is going to get mirrored back with somebody else's doo-doo. And once you see that, it's going to be like a deep wisdom that it's time for you to be seen. So you're going to get back out there into like your career or some set of responsibilities that you're going to be taking on, where you just are going to be a lot more confident than you used to be, because that idea of what the world wanted from you, that you're letting go. So it's going to be a huge month. And that's what I'm seeing here for you, Libra. Thank you for being here. All my information is in the description box below if you want to work with me closer. And if not, please let me know how you're doing. Give this video a thumbs up and subscribe. And I will see you in the next prediction video.